Welcome to the 84th edition of Spooky Reviews from Spooky Ventures. The video I'm going to be talking about this time is the DVD release of The Ones You Didn't Burn. Now, the movie was originally released in 2022, but this DVD has just come out. Now, this is a movie that would probably be considered elevated horror. As I mentioned in a review a couple weeks ago, I'm often not really a fan of that subgenre, but in this case it works pretty well. The premise is that a brother and sister return to the family farm to take care of their late father's estate. We find out fairly quickly that the father actually committed suicide. And there are a couple of women living at the farm who say they worked for the father. The movie is rather slow building, and sometimes it's a little hard to understand exactly what is happening. That said, there are a number of ghosts of the past, meaning that more metaphorically than anything else, that gradually start to rise up to cause heartache for the siblings. Now, the blurb for the movie says that the two women, quote, claim the property was stolen from their ancestors after they were accused of being witches. Again, that's on the back of the box for the movie, so I'm not giving away any spoilers here. The thing is, I don't think they ever actually say that, although the point is made very clear in the course of the movie. I have to commend the handling of the witch part of the story. First, the witches are presented as the victims, really. I mean, yeah, they exact revenge, but they're the victims. The whole idea of Wiccan or pagan practice is treated with a sort of respect here. Also, there aren't any blatant over-the-top rituals like you often see in movies centered around witches. That said, if you have any knowledge or understanding of pagan practice, you will clearly recognize many things as being part of that, but in a rather covert way. I found that kind of treatment actually very refreshing from what you see in a lot of horror movies. And as long as we're talking about religion, I think it's important to mention another observation I had. For a movie that's so heavily based on Wiccan practice, and I would guess made by someone who knows a lot about it, I found it interesting that the basic premise of descendants needing to pay for the sins of their ancestors is really a parable of one of the most basic tenets of Christianity, original sin. I think on further viewings I'll likely find more religious imagery because it seems pretty clear to me that it was intentional and that the people doing the film really know a lot about those religions, and so they probably put more stuff in there that I just happened to miss. With all that out of the way, let's look at the horror aspect here. Now, this does have a lot of psychological horror built into it, and at times it's hard to tell what's real and what isn't. Also, while it's slow moving, it really gets very intense before it's over as all the ghosts of the past come back to exact vengeance on this family. Now, I'm not going to go into any more detail about the plot, but I will say that there are some very artsy sort of scenes here, but they still manage to work well within the scope of telling a really frightening story. Overall, I found the tale to be compelling, and I'd love to see what the people behind it do next. The mature way that some of the subject matter was treated really bodes well for their future work. Spooky Ventures is the home for spooky content and spooky merchandise on the web. Check it out today at spookyventures.com. And remember, always keep it spooky.